Today on Sega Slayer 64 is the day where we ask the question, is which version of Super Hang-On is the best? Would it be the arcade version or would it be the Sega Genesis version? We'll find out today. Stick with me and we'll find out. Hey Slayers, I'm the world's coolest Sega enthusiast, Sega Slayer 64, and welcome to a different type of video today. And I'm actually just gonna restart this real fast if I can. Can I restart it? Can I restart? I'll exit. Okay, well, just exit and I'll just restart from there. But yeah, welcome to a different type of video today. A video in which we'll be taking a look at Super Hang-On. But not just any type of Super Hang-On. Today's the day where we decide once and for all, what is the better version of Hang-On, Super Hang-On? And in fact, we asked the question, is Super Hang-On the greatest racing game of all time? It's a tough one for me because I'm a huge Daytona USA fan, right? And I also am a huge Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing fan, but I think Daytona USA more. And recently, I've been playing a lot of Super Hang-On and particularly listening to the music, and I'm in love with both. So I'm in love with the Super Hang-On soundtrack. It's awesome. The game looks beautiful. And today we're going to just be comparing the Sega Genesis and arcade versions to see which one is better. Now, I know I said a long time ago more arcade games were coming, and I want to hold true to that. So as you can see, I'm playing the arcade version today. I thought, why not start off with the all-beautiful, almighty Super Hang-On, man? Just an all-time classic. Definitely, you can say, even if you don't agree that this is probably the greatest racing game of all time, you could definitely say this is the greatest like dirt bike rally type game, motorcycle racing game of all time. And I personally think that the beautiful super scalar graphics, the awesome music, going through Africa, you know what I'm saying, just trying to beat the time limit. It's so fun and so beautiful. And just one of the things I love about Super Hang-On is really just the music, and that's really the whole reason I wanted to make this video. I had been listening to the Super Hang-On soundtrack and playing the games and realizing that the arcade version is a lot more beautiful than I thought it was, and that's what's running here through, if you're asking, it's MAME on Android. I could have just recorded it on my PC, but I just haven't been. I don't know why I haven't. I'm working on another video on the PC, so that's why I haven't had time to record any other videos. That being said, each version of Super Hang-On for each console has their own weaknesses and their own strengths, and we'll get to each one here. And first off, we'll start with the arcade version. Then we'll go ahead and review the Sega Genesis version, and then at the end, I'll decide for once and for all who is the winner of Super Hang-On? Is it the arcade version or is it the Genesis version? So consider this an episode of Battle of the Bits. The arcade version or the Genesis version, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, yeah, that's what this is. But anyway, let's get right into this. So I think it's only fitting that I restart the game now, you know what I'm saying? Just so we can give it a fair shot here. We'll restart the game. Now, Super Hang-On is an arcade game, right? Developed by Sega, obviously, because who else is going to develop this game? Developed by Sega, obviously, in the 80s, you know what I'm saying? As part of their Super Scaler line. And the game, first thing right off the bat you're going to notice is the game on arcade has beautiful graphics. The music is awesome. Like, just let me play you one of the tracks real fast. Now, for the time, I'd say Super Hang-On blew people away. Like, literally. The graphics are so stunning, especially if you're on the arcade version. Now, I suck more at the arcade version, I'm not gonna lie. But, dude, the graphics on the arcade version are just outright beautiful. They have no reason to be as good looking as they are. And was that junior? Okay. So yeah, there's different courses. You have 10 different courses. You have beginner, which is Africa, expert, which is Europe, and then did it actually? Is it gonna select? And then you have You have beginner, junior. What's the other one? What is the other one? What is America again? We have beginner, junior. What is America? I can't remember what America is. Senior. You have beginner, junior, senior, and then you have expert. And if I can get to expert, there we go. I was on it at some point. No. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to select stages in this, but yeah, you have all these different. You have those 4 different stages. With my personal favorite just being Africa, and you have 4 different music tracks you can pick from in each stage. I most of the time when I play the game, because my favorite track in the game is Outrider Crisis, and that's the first track, and that's the one I pick the most time. That's the one I pick the most. You know what I'm saying? It just sounds great. But dude, the visuals here are just outstanding. This was like nothing else at the time. The visuals of the game are just so beautiful and so colorful. You know what I'm saying? I have a 1080p LCD screen in my phone, so it's not OLED, but it is LCD, and even for an LCD screen at 1080p, 60 frames a second, the game looks amazing. It looks amazing, and in this video for sure it's recorded in 1080p and will be uploaded in 1080p. The footage here, I know you're stunned as well as I am. Like, the graphics here are just too outstandingly beautiful, and this is one of the main reasons to come back to the arcade version. That being said, though, the arcade version compared to the Genesis version, and this is one of the weaknesses of the arcade version, at least in my opinion, it is extremely hard. As you can see, I just died, and that was because, and that's down to the fact that the arcade version was designed to be a quarter gobbler. You know what I'm saying? They want you to spend as many quarters as you can on the game, so they designed it as a quarter gobbler because that's what it was at the time. You know what I'm saying? They don't want you to beat the game. Do you think that's what they want? No, they want your money. Okay, now, the Genesis version tones down the difficulty a lot for one big reason. Like, at least me personally, I feel like the counter goes down a lot faster in the arcade version than it does in the Genesis version. And that's just simply due to the fact that, they want you to spend quarters in the arcade version. Just period. Now you do have the option to, just refill your coins, but that doesn't work in game. When you die in game, you're done. You know what I'm saying? You have to restart this track. It doesn't matter. I've done had times where I got pretty far, especially in like the senior track in America. I've gotten pretty far and just immediately, and then I messed up at the end and I had to restart. Here, look, sometimes a lot of people at the start, you won't even get far. I still don't even get far 9 times out of 10, and that's one of the big reasons I think a lot more people will enjoy the Genesis version over the arcade version. Just that overwhelming difficulty, because this game was never designed to be home. It was designed to take quarters, and so when you play it on an emulator, it can become hard. Now, of course, you can always just download like a cheated version or something like that, where you have infinite time. You could always just input cheats in the MAME and all that, but that kind of kills it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it is extremely hard. You know what I'm saying? Because some of these games. So like Super Hang-On, it had a sit-down cabinet, right? And then there was also an actual cabinet where you could ride the motorcycle, from what I remember. And it would probably be a lot easier to actually ride a giant life-size bike than it would be to play this game with, a modern-day Xbox One controller, as I'm playing it with. You know what I'm saying? So, well, I guess a King Gear, because I have 2 Xbox One controllers, but I'm not using them. I'm using my dedicated mobile controller. Listen. Okay, I'm getting off topic here. Point being, like, the graphics are beautiful. The music sounds a heck of a lot better here. It's higher quality, although personally I prefer the Genesis soundtrack. I will say that now. But obviously the music is higher quality on the arcade. The sound effects are so real, and the stunning graphics, those are the ups of the arcade version. That being said, I'd go ahead and give the arcade version a 10 out of 10 either way. The difficulty there is harder. The difficulty spike is there. It is harder. But when you actually do complete a race, it feels so much more rewarding. Plus you have infinite coins, so you can't really mess up. Now, I could understand the arcade version maybe losing the debate back in the day for its difficulty, just for the fact, and no one has infinite money to spend. But now that we're talking about emulating this on MAME, or if you see this in the wild, because apparently there still are a few cabinets of this around. One of my arcades, not local near me, but I have an arcade that I did visit not so long ago. It had a copy of Super Hang-On and Outrun still, so these games can still be found in the wild. They are still up and running, and that's still good to see. So if you see this in the wild, I'd definitely say it's worth a checkout. Of course, it's worth a checkout, and it is a huge improvement over the first Hang-On, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? The music is just, oh god, the music is so good. That being said, there is some fake sponsors here and all that, you know what I'm saying? But the tracks get more and more difficulty, more and more difficult, and you want to race to each song to the track, and then like, it's super fun, but especially with the later tracks, you know what I'm saying? With the later tracks, anything other than, like for the arcade, I really don't touch anything other than Africa and Eurasia, you know, Russia, China, Asia. And that's just for the simple reason that it's extremely hard. It is extremely hard, and it's unforgiving. That being said, we'll move over to the Genesis version. I'll give you my thoughts on there. Oops, there we go. I'll restart the game. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, finally got my Genesis copy up and running. And the first thing you're going to notice here is the graphics are obviously a lot more limited, you know what I'm saying? You still have the same stages, you still have the same soundtracks, but the thing you're going to notice here, first off, is we're rocking 16-bit hardware here, right? And so everything's, of course, going to be more limited. And also, I want to let you know now, I do have a time limit cheat on the Genesis version, just so we can actually get further. I did quickly import a Game Genie code. You know, it doesn't change the game at all. I was getting sick of the short me gameplay because I'm not really focused on the game, so I'm not really gonna make it far. But if I have a time limit code, I won't run out of time. But yeah, the first thing you're gonna notice here is the graphics are impacted, but they still look extremely good for Genesis. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, everything's accurate. You know what I'm saying? If anything, the characters are a little bit bigger on Genesis than they are on the arcade edition. But another thing you'll notice is everything's a lot more slow, a lot more sluggish. Like, you know, you usually don't notice this unless you're playing them back to back. Like, I just played them back to back, you know what I'm saying? So now I notice how slow it is. But usually when I'm normally playing the game, I won't even notice that the Genesis version is a lot more slower. But since I just played the arcade version, I'll notice it. But like, given an hour or two after I haven't played the arcade version and I'll come back and play this version, I won't even notice that, you know, it is a little bit slower. Also, I feel like the Genesis game can take a little longer in some cases. Now, I have the timer off, obviously, but the first thing I'm going to tell you is some of the strengths of the Genesis. First off, me personally, I feel the soundtrack is better, and I'm just gonna turn it up here and let you hear this. I'm gonna let you hear it. But personally, I feel the Genesis soundtrack is better. Some people might not agree with me because apparently the Genesis is lower quality and all that. You know what I'm saying? It is lower quality. It is true. But in my opinion, it sounds a little bit better. But that's just me. You know what I'm saying? The arcade version is still good, and that doesn't take away from it. I just think I like the Genesis version just a little bit more, the Genesis renditions. That being said, I'll go ahead and turn it up. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it down now. See, personally, I just like the Genesis rendition of like the tracks, especially Outright Crisis. And for some reason, my Genesis emulator is acting really stupid, and the volume is really low today for whatever reason. So I'll leave it up a little bit. But yeah, but I personally prefer the Genesis renditions of the tracks more. But you know, you might disagree, you might agree. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm not you. I'm not here to decide which one you should or shouldn't like better. Personally, I prefer the Genesis, you know what I'm saying? But that being said, the arcade version is still extremely good. Another thing, like I said, the weakness is due to the limitations of the console. Some people, the transitions don't look as nice, you know what I'm saying? The stages Well, they feel a little bit bigger actually. Like I was saying personally, they feel a little bit bigger, and they might be just a little bit bigger to flesh out the game more for home consoles. You know what I'm saying? Also, there is a new mode you get here that you don't get in the arcade mode, and I'll show it off here in a second. It might be a reason to get the Genesis version over the arcade version. Some people might disagree, some people might not. I see it as particularly a way to maybe justify getting the Genesis over the arcade version. Now, it's not too fleshed out, and why would you get the arcade version? You know what I'm saying? You can't get the arcade version only. I see the Genesis version being a way to the special mode it has that I'll show off in a second, that it might be a little bit more of an incentive to play this over the arcade version. Plus, it is a little bit harder to set up MAME than it is any old Genesis emulator. Plus, this is available on a lot of other collections. Like, you can get Super Hang-On in the Super 6-pack. You know what I'm saying? Or you can get a standalone copy, whatever one's your choice. But you can actually get this game physical. You know what I'm saying? It's available in a lot of Sega Genesis collections, even the newest one on Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, PC, and PS4. You know what I'm saying? It's available there. So this one has probably been played by a lot more people than the arcade version has. And it just, overall, it's a pretty decent port, you know what I'm saying? Because some ports could be abysmal from the time, but this port kind of had to be good to show off what the Genesis could do. Like, this is almost arcade perfect. Like, what I'm saying, it's not arcade perfect, but it is extremely close. It is an extremely good port. The music isn't that downgraded, you know what I'm saying? If anything, the stages feel longer. It has its original mode, you know what I'm saying? The only downsides, and it's easier. The downsides I could see of the Genesis version being, the graphics look worse, obviously, although I think the characters look a little bit bigger. The music is downgraded to some people, you know what I'm saying? So they won't really like that. Some people might not like how the music, it definitely plays slower, but you really only notice that if you go back to back. Like I said, I was just playing the arcade version, so it feels slower to me going to the Genesis version after recently playing the arcade version. It does feel slower, but like, that's something you only notice if you're playing the arcade version. If you go and you play the arcade version, then you go right to playing the Genesis version. But also, this has a password system. But what I was saying is, the special mode this one has, right, is called Original Mode. And what it is it is essentially a career mode where you can there's parts to upgrade your bike, you know what I'm saying? You can add different things to your bike. There's a mechanic, and the mechanic will fix your bike up and stuff, and you just race, and you can still choose your song. All 4 songs are here. I still prefer Outrider Crisis as just my favorite track. And it is, and there's exclusive tracks here too. Well, there's not exclusive tracks. What it does is, it takes all the different stages from all the other tracks, so it'll mix a segment from Europe with a segment from Africa to create different tracks. And you'll go through only certain parts of certain tracks. Like, I'm pretty sure this is a section from Europe. Either Europe or Asia, this was a section from. This little beat section. I think it was, or no, it might have been America. I think it was America, one of them. And it'll just take random sections from the stages, and you'll race through them, and you get to the goal. And the times, there is no time here, actually. It is a traditional race, and you gotta get to the end, you know what I'm saying? It's a traditional race, you know what I'm saying? Parts and all that. And it helps flesh out the game a little bit more. It helps it have its own idea. I probably shouldn't have did that. It helps it have, oh my god. Okay, this is dumb. This is stupid. Okay, this is dumb. Okay, can we get back on now? Okay, yeah, we can. Okay, it helps it have its own, what? Okay, it makes the game, how can I say this? Why can I put this into words? It fleshes out its identity a little bit more, okay? It is the way I put it. And also, your bike is extremely slow at the beginning. Even more so than like a normal bike. It's extremely slow. You will not win your first race at all. Like, it's extreme. Your bike is extremely slow. Like, it's to the point it's annoying. The way you turn is just extremely slow. But as you upgrade your bike and get a faster bike and get better times and win more races, you start to get better. And it's a nice little distraction. It's fun, you know what I'm saying? And it's totally justified being that this was a full price home game. And personally, I don't know about you, I love when games do stuff like this, and that's why there's a password system for this mode. I love when games add stuff like this when they come home in arcade games, because it really wouldn't be fun if they just brought an arcade game home. Like Golden Axe added the dual mode, you know what I'm saying? The little extra dual mode. That was fun. You know what I'm saying? That was fun. It was fun. It was a fun thing to do, right? I love when games do that. You know, personally, I just love when games do that. You might not agree. I agree. I think it's awesome when games do stuff like that. And I wish more arcade ports did stuff like that, added exclusive modes and all that to a home console version, just to make it a little bit more worthwhile. Because I don't think a lot of arcade ports would have sold if they were just arcade ports. You know what I'm saying? Would you have bought an arcade port if it was just an arcade port? You know what I'm saying? Really? Because I don't think it would have been worth it. So yeah, the original mode is a nice little distraction. It's not groundbreaking or anything, but it's a nice little distraction, and it's definitely a point. That being said, it's time to ask the question: what is the better version of Super Hang-On? I'll be back. Okay, and as you can see right here, we have the versions, okay? On the left, we have the arcade, and on the right, we have the Genesis. So it's time to decide who is the better game, okay? And my answer, personally, well, to be honest, I want to hear what you think. Let me know down in the comments below your personal opinion. Do you think Sega Genesis takes the victory, or do you think the arcade takes the victory? If I'm being honest here, if I had to fully decide who I think is better, I am going to have to give this one to the Genesis, okay? Personally, this is just a personal. You might think the arcade version is better, but here's the thing. They give you, okay, here's why I personally think the Genesis version is better. And this is completely objective, by the way. This is my opinion. I'm not stating this is the definitive version of the game or anything. But, yes, the arcade has the better graphics, better sound quality, better feeling gameplay, tighter controls, and moves a lot faster. But the Genesis, at the same time, I think the Genesis soundtrack is better. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it moves a little bit slower, but it also is still extremely playable. The colors aren't as good on the Genesis version, but it's extremely accurate. You know what I'm saying? You get a password system. The new original mode is here, right? You don't lose anything. You get all the exact same tracks that you get on the arcade version and more. You know what I'm saying? The stages feel particularly longer in the Genesis game than they do the arcade, but that's just me. You know what I'm saying? That can be a completely objective, and that could be something I feel. But definitively, I just think the Genesis version is a better deal. Plus, it's cheaper. You can play it physical. It's on a lot of different collections. But even for the time, if you ask me which version would have been the definitive version, personally, I just think the Genesis. You know what I'm saying? It moves a little slower, yes, but you're getting that original mode. You're getting what feels like longer tracks. You're getting what, and in my opinion, is the better rendition of the soundtrack. They're all the same songs, but I think the Genesis version has it better. Plus, the original mode does add some new music in. Kinda, I think it does, but still, I personally prefer the Genesis. That being said, like I said, let me know what you think down in the comments below. The arcade is by no means a bad game or anything like that. It is 10 out of 10. Both of these are 10 out of 10, but if you had to ask me which one I would play first, definitely probably the Genesis version. That being said, if you're new here, if you could subscribe, that'd be really awesome. We're trying to reach 200 subscribers, and you'd be helping us out a lot. Make sure to share this video with your friends to become a Super Slayer. I've been the world's coolest Sega enthusiast, Sega Slayer 64, and until next time, have a good one, Slayers.